Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Toronto this morning and will be meeting with the city's mayor, Olivia Chow. Now, the meeting comes as Toronto finds itself dealing with a growing problem to help the homeless stay warm as the temperature gets colder here. Toronto is now asking the federal government to do more to fund its shelter system. And today, the city opens a new warming centre that will eventually accommodate 240 people. Megan Fitzpatrick joins me now from that site. So good morning to you, Megan. Tell us more about Toronto's winter plan and the opening of this new space that you're at.
Yeah, we got more details yesterday from the city, Travis, on additional efforts the city will be making this winter to provide warm spaces for people experiencing homelessness. They first unveiled a plan in October, and they've now made some adjustments to it. And one of those adjustments is opening this space at the Better Living Centre. We'll give you a look inside at what they're doing here. They've set up some cots, and this will be a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week respite center, they're calling it. They are going to open this gradually, so start welcoming about 40 people per day starting today and over the coming days. Eventually, they say they'll ramp up the capacity to have about 240 people in here at a time, and this will operate until early March. So this is a new addition to the winter plan. And then they also announced some other initiatives, including a respite center, particularly for youth, that will be operated in partnership with Covenant House. Also, the warming centers will be opening when the temperature is at -5 degrees Celsius. And they announced they're also extending some of the hours at the city's 10 drop-in centers. Now, the demand for these spaces, as we know, will grow and rise throughout the winter as those temperatures drop. And people who work in this sector, outreach workers, saying, while these efforts are welcome, they're really not enough, and there need to be longer-term solutions to provide housing for people. Take a listen to what this outreach worker said earlier today on News Network.
One of the things that the city talked about yesterday was that they're going to add more shelter beds, but they don't say what they're doing is that they're actually going to push beds closer together in order to add more beds. And so what that means is you're basically sleeping on a cot beside a total stranger in a large dorm setting. That's why people don't want to go in there. And so what we really need is actual upstream solutions. We desperately need affordable gear to income housing, and we really have not seen the speed to build those as much as we need.
And the city is saying they are stretched, that on any given night, upwards of 10,000 people are being provided shelter either through city-operated facilities or through other partnerships like with the Red Cross. And they're saying close to 50% of those people are refugee claimants. And that has been an increasing trend in Toronto in recent months. So city officials saying they're working as hard as they can to do as much as they can, but it's not enough. They say on any given night, upwards of 200 people who are seeking a bed in a shelter are turned away, Travis.
And as we said, Megan, Olivia Chow will be meeting with Justin Trudeau at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. What does Toronto want from the federal government?
There's two key asks they want from Ottawa. One is an extension of the Canada Housing Benefit Program. This is something that Toronto says has been very successful and very helpful in terms of getting people who are using the shelter system into permanent housing. It's funding that helps bridge those costs to get them into housing. And some of that funding that had been flowing to Toronto from Ottawa ran out a few months ago last summer, and then the province and the city stepped up to keep funding it. And the city is saying that funding is due to run out in March, and they would like Ottawa to resume funding, send more money to Toronto for that program, because it not only gives permanent housing for people who need it, but then it would relieve pressure on the shelter system. The other key thing they want is money to provide shelter to these refugee claimants who are arriving in Toronto. The city says immigration is federal jurisdiction, yet the city of Toronto has been paying the bill for these shelter spaces, and they would like to be reimbursed $200 million for this past year, and they want the federal government to send about $250 million to Toronto for next year. Here's some of what city officials are saying about this request.
City of Toronto cannot do this alone, specifically when almost half of those beds are currently in use by folks who are fleeing different, very challenging situations around the world. We want to welcome them and we want to support them, but fundamentally we believe that the federal government has the jurisdiction for immigration in this country, and we need them to play a part not only in the bill for today and next year, but frankly in a long-term strategy to support people that will continue to come to this country for a better life.
Now, they say city staff are in frequent touch with their federal counterparts. They have been advocating for this. They will keep pressing this case. And no doubt, Travis, that's what Mayor Olivia Chow will be doing when she sits down with the Prime Minister today. They are hoping that he's brought a check with him from Ottawa for Toronto to help with these costs.
We will see if that happens. Okay, Megan Fitzpatrick reporting for us in Toronto.